Hey there, investment property owners. Jeremy Goodrich here, owner of Shine Insurance Agency and your host for the Shine Insurance YouTube channel. Today, we're going to address a topic that comes up so often for investment property owners because it seems so great, such an awesome solution, such a cheap solution. You could save so much money. It is the blanket limit myth. Whether you go online and look at ways to insure your portfolio of investment properties, or maybe you check out Bigger Pockets or whatever, there's people out there advising you in a way that just is incorrect. And this video, very quickly, is going to address that issue. So here we go. What will we address? Well, first, we're going to talk about the scenario. I'm going to give you an example scenario that we can use to give an example of what the problem is. And the second thing now is the con. What is it that people are saying that is incorrect? Finally, the crux of the whole situation, which is the co-insurance clause, and the truth. We're going to give you the truth about what the actual scenario is so you can know how to insure your properties properly. All right, let's dig in. So this scenario, let's say you are the owner of a portfolio of investment properties, and that investment property portfolio magically has a very round number of $1 million replacement cost. And RC means replacement cost. And what replacement cost means is super important. This is a heart of this scenario. When you are insuring your properties, you are not insuring for the market value, how much you can sell it for. You're not insuring for anything but the replacement cost. What it would cost the insurance company to rebuild your properties if they had to do so. Imagining a total catastrophe where all of your properties were taken down all at once. Obviously, that's not very likely to happen, but that's how we're figuring the insurance on your properties is the entire replacement cost of your portfolio. So in this scenario, we're going to say you have 5 properties, and each of those properties is a replacement cost of exactly $200,000. Obviously, creating some round numbers here just to be clear. 5 properties at $200,000. Maybe they're duplexes, just 700 square feet on each side, $200,000. Probably would fit into where I'm from in the Midwest. Maybe not where you're from, but that's okay. So we got some nice round numbers here. 5 properties, all of them a replacement cost of $200,000, which gives you an entire portfolio replacement cost of $1 million. So here's where the con comes in. You connect with an insurance agent or some advisor on Google or around the world that says, hey, you can insure this for $500,000, half of the value of the replacement cost of your portfolio, and we'll just make it blanket coverage. We'll just make it a blanket. And as long as more than half of your properties don't burn down at the same time, everything will be fine. And it kind of makes sense, right? If you have coverage and we use this blanket term, which means the coverage, the $500,000 can sort of move wherever wherever in your portfolio it's needed. So if you have 2 properties burned down, that $500,000 could just move over there. That's the argument. That's the con. That's what they're saying. In fact, that isn't true, obviously, or I wouldn't be making this video. But that is the con. So say you can insure for $500,000, half of your total replacement cost, and obviously that's going to be a lot cheaper, probably half the price. Maybe not exactly half the price, but probably about half the price. We make it a blanket, it's going to be fine. Well, you can tell by the tone of my voice that this is incorrect. This is fiction. It is not the truth. And in fact, if you are insuring this way right now, or you're considering insuring this way, you're putting yourself in a terrible position. Well, why? Well, like most insurance rules, and the issue here is an insurance rule, the problem here stems out of people doing exactly what we're talking about. In the insurance world, somebody comes up with an idea that kind of manipulates insurance in some way, and then the insurance companies respond in some way to kind of protect themselves from that idea. So this con has been tried. People have figured, well, I could insure for half the price and put a blanket on it so it sort of extends to all my properties and everything will be fine. And so insurance companies created something, and it's called the co-insurance clause. Now, I have an entirely separate video that really digs into the coinsurance clause and really talks through it. So if you want to dig deeper into the coinsurance clause than this video is going to do, please check out that other video. I'll link it right there at the top of this video. But basically, the coinsurance clause in your insurance policy is protecting the company from people significantly underinsuring. So it says, okay, look, we have a coinsurance clause that is a penalty if you insure for less than the total replacement cost that you have in your portfolio. So let's look at the truth. Let's look at an example. Okay, let's say there's just one fire on one property. And let's say there's $100,000 of damage, so essentially half of the value of that property, because remember, we had $200,000 per property exists there. So one property has $100,000 of damage. Okay, that makes sense. The insurance company in this claim is going to apply the co-insurance clause to the entire account. So they are going to look, when they're dealing with this claim at this one property, at how well you insured the entire account. So let's remember what we did. So we have we have $1 million replacement cost. We have 5 properties. Each is worth about $200,000. And your agent suggested you insured for $500,000 with this blanket. So this was the con, right? You fell for the con, and now we're in this situation where we have $100,000 of damage to one property, but we only insured our entire portfolio for about half of the value. And indeed, right, you insured for half of what you should have. And that means, and this is the kicker and super important, because of the co-insurance clause, the insurance company will only pay half of the claim. So they're going to apply that even to a single claim on one property. So remember, in this example, the claim is $100,000 of damage on one property. Well, using the co-insurance clause, because you underinsured so much, that insurance claim is only going to pay out $50,000 of the loss. $50,000 of it will not be paid because you were insuring for half of what you should have. So the blanket idea seems good, but in actuality, when someone suggests that, they are giving you terrible advice, because the co-insurance clause, whether you like it or not, now that's a whole different conversation, whether it should be this way, but this is the way it is. And so if you insure for half the value of your portfolio, and then you have a claim at one house, even if it's let's say it's a $10,000 claim, the co-insurance clause is still going to apply. And in this example, you only insured for half of what you should have. So you're only going to get paid out $5,000, and the other $5,000 is on you. It doesn't matter the size of the claim. Co-insurance is going to apply in the same way. So essentially, your agent gave you terrible advice, and cheap insurance in actuality turns out to be expensive. So, I mean, if you're going to buy insurance, you might as well spend a little bit of extra money and make sure it actually covers you in a claim, right? I mean, that is the point of insurance. And so if you're going to spend $7,000 for something that doesn't take care of you at all, or $9,000 for something that actually takes care of you the way it should in a claim, why not spend that extra $9,000 and make sure that you have it right? And that's what I mean by cheap insurance is expensive. It's like when you go out there and you find this like super cheap insurance, usually there is a significant problem with that insurance. That is why it's cheaper. You just have to watch out. And that's what these videos are all about. Okay, we always have a rookie mistake in our videos, and this one is obvious. The rookie mistake on this topic is believing you can magically insure half of the value of your portfolio, spend half the money on insurance, and then in a claim scenario actually have coverage. And that just is not the case, unfortunately. So what are the action steps? Well, step number 1, you need to understand the actual replacement cost of your portfolio. So take a look at what your portfolio is, what you have in general, the replacement cost of investment properties across the United States, and is somewhere between $125 a square foot and $160 a square foot. Obviously, the person who's going to know that better than anyone is a contractor in your town. If you're curious as to what the actual replacement cost is of your portfolio, go to a contractor friend and say, hey, here's what I've got. if this was all gone, what would it cost to replace it? That'll give you a great sense. Obviously, your insurance agent is going to suggest a replacement cost as well, but really, the person who has the most expertise is a contractor, someone who could actually rebuild your property. So check it out. But in one way or another, understand the actual replacement cost of your portfolio. And then step 2 is to insure to reasonably close to that value. Depending on the coinsurance clause, you can be a little bit lower than that value, but you want to be right around that value. And that's just going to make sure that you don't get any surprises in a claim scenario. All right, so what did we address? Well, we started with the scenario, then obviously the con that you could insure for half of the value of your property. The coinsurance clause is the reason that that's a con, because insurance companies have kind of created a fail-safe so that that can't happen, and then the truth about what would actually happen. All right, so if you want more, we have plenty of videos about investment properties. At Shine Insurance, we take great care of investment property owners. We have folks with one investment property. We have others with 600 or 700 units. We have all sorts of different types of investment property owners as our clients, and we would love to have you, of course. But if you just want to watch the videos, we have another that's more of a general rental property insurance tips and advice. If you're into Airbnb, check that video out as well. And finally, like I said, if you're interested in insurance, we are a smaller insurance agency. And by that, I mean we work in a limited amount of states. So definitely reach out. If we don't work in your state, I talk with people every day. I probably have 2 or 3 people a day reach out in states that we don't work in. And I help them find an agent in their state that kind of works the best for them. So I'm more than happy to do that for you as well. Okay, finally, if you're still here, you obviously enjoyed this video, so please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Get all the best advice and tips about investment properties as well as other types of insurance when it comes out, and check out other videos on our channel. Of course, if you want to check out shineinsurance.com, we'd be happy to have you. All right, until the next time, have a wonderful